Part 3: How to change your emotions. The mind always seeks to deny the now and to escape from it. In other words, the more you are identified with your mind, the more you suffer. Or you may put it like this: the more you are able to honor and accept the now, the more you are free of pain, of suffering, and free of the egoic mind. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. In this section, we will explore how you can deal with negative emotions and condition your mind to experience more positive ones. First, we will discuss how emotions are formed. Then, we will discuss the benefit of positive thinking and how to use it to condition your mind. After that, we will see why positive thinking is not enough and what else you can do to deal with negative emotions. More specifically, you will learn how to let go of your emotions, how to change your story and create a more empowering one, how to condition your mind, how to use your behaviors to change your emotions, and how to modify your environment to reduce negative emotions. Finally, I will share with you a list of short term and long term strategies you can use to better deal with negative emotions. Let's get started. How emotions are formed. When a thought emerges on the canvas of your mind, if you don't drop it, its pursuit will either take the form of a desire or an emotion, positive or negative. Swami, a million thoughts. Few people know how emotions are formed. While we experience them all day long, we seldom, if ever, take time to understand why we are feeling certain emotions and how they came into existence. First, let's differentiate two types of negative emotions. The first type are the negative emotions you experience spontaneously. These are the emotions that keep you alive, such as the fear our ancestors felt when they encountered a saber-toothed tiger. The second type of negative emotions are the ones you create in your mind by identifying with your thoughts. These emotions aren't necessarily triggered by external events, although they may be. These emotions tend to last longer than the first type. Here is how they work. A random thought arises. You identify with that thought. This identification creates an emotional reaction. As you keep identifying with that thought, the related emotion grows stronger until it becomes a core emotion. Let's look at some examples. You have money problems, and each time your mind comes up with money related thoughts, you identify with them. As a result, your worry about money intensifies. You had an argument with your friend and fell out with him. You cannot stop replying this scene in your mind. As a result, months have passed and you still haven't called to make up with your friend. You made a mistake at work and are ashamed of yourself. You keep revisiting the same thought over and over. As a result, your feelings of inadequacy grew stronger. Your tendency to identify with negative thoughts repeatedly is what allows them to grow stronger. The more you focus on your financial challenges, the easier it will be for related thoughts to arise in the future. The more you reply the argument with your friend in your head, the stronger the feelings of resentment will grow. Similarly, as you keep thinking of the mistake you made at work, you invite feelings of shame and intensify the situation. The point is, When you gave thoughts room to exist, they spread and became major points of focus. This simple process of identification allows seemingly inoffensive thoughts to take control of your mind. This identification with your thoughts, and more importantly, how you choose to interpret them, creates suffering in your life. Now, let's see in more detail how your emotions are formed. This will help you better deal with negative emotions while allowing positive emotions to grow. Here is a formula to explain how emotions form. Interpretation plus identification plus repetition equal to strong emotion. Interpretation is when you interpret an event or a thought based on your personal story. Identification is when you identify with a specific thought as it arises. Repetition is having the same thoughts over and over. Strong emotion is when you experience an emotion so many times it has become part of your identity. You then experience that emotion whenever a related thought or event triggers it. Altogether, interpretation, identification, and repetition give room for emotions to grow. Conversely, whenever you remove one of these elements from the equation, these emotions start losing their power over you. To sum up, for an emotion to grow in intensity and duration, you must first interpret an event or a thought. Then you must identify with that thought as it arises. Finally, you must repeat the same thoughts again and again and identify with it. Now let's discuss in more depth each component of the formula. Interpretation. Interpretation plus identification plus repetition equal to strong emotion. Negative emotions always result from your interpretation of events. That's why two different people might react to the same event in different ways. One might be devastated while the other might be unaffected. For instance, for a farmer, rain could be a blessing, but for someone going on a picnic, it would be seen as a curse. That's because of the meaning they give to the event. In short, for negative emotions to arise, you must add your interpretation to a specific event. The event in itself cannot trigger negative emotions without your consent. So, why do you keep experiencing negative emotions? I believe it's because reality fails to meet your expectations. You want reality to be one way, but it turns out to be another. You go on a picnic and want the weather to be good, but it rains. You want a promotion at work, but you don't get it. You want to make money with your side business, but it's not working. Your interpretation of reality creates suffering in your life. Reality in itself can never be upsetting. This is worth repeating. We will discuss in depth how you can change your interpretation in the next section entitled Changing Your Story. Identification. Interpretation plus identification plus repetition equal to strong emotion. Now let's focus on the second part of the formula, identification. For an emotion to survive long term, there must be a process of identification. Emotions cannot persist unless you give them your attention. The more you focus on your emotions and identify with them, the more powerful they become. People often feel the urge to identify with their emotions and find themselves unable to disengage from them. They fail to realize one of the most important truths in this world. You are not your emotions. Your emotions will come and they will go. So, when you catch yourself saying, I'm sad, remember you are incorrect. Nobody has ever been sad because your emotions are not who you are. They can appear to be you, but they will soon disappear, like clouds in the sky. Think of yourself as the sun, and the sun is always there whether or not you perceive it, whether or not it's hidden by the cloud. You are not your emotions. You are not sad. You merely experience feelings that you may call sadness at a given point in time. This is an important point. I hope you can see the difference. Whenever you are angry, get busy with any activity requiring your full attention. You will see your anger quickly dissipate. Conversely, keep dwelling on the feelings of anger, and you will see it grow until it becomes one of your major emotional states. Repetition. Interpretation plus identification plus repetition equal to a strong emotion. We have seen that the way you interpret an event or a thought determines how you feel. We also know that as you identify with your thoughts or feelings, they become emotions. Now, if you keep repeating that process, you will condition your mind to experience these specific emotions, positive or negative. For instance, if you focus for your attention on what you believe your friend did to you, feelings of resentment will grow. As a result, you could hold a grudge for months. People often do this. They waste time holding on to negative emotions that serve no purpose just because they can't let go of them. Conversely, if you disengage from your thoughts of resentment and simply observe them, over time they will lose power and the associated resentment will fade away. In fact, if you had let go of the thought of resentment immediately after it arose, your feelings of resentment would have dissipated almost instantly. We will see how you can let go of your emotion in the section Letting Go of Your Emotions.